It is small moments where you intentionally connect for 30 seconds to a minute, but over, a week, over a month, those are cultivating that friendship part of that connection.
Kaleb, welcome back. And friends, thanks for listening. This is Breaking Bread. In the last episode, Kaleb Beyer helped us see the role friendship plays in marriage and how knowledge of one another is a key component of building this friendship. Today we will learn 2 more action items to help with this objective. So Kaleb, sharing affection and appreciation. Bring some clarity around this. What do we mean by that, and how's that done?
Mm-hmm. So sharing affection and appreciation is finding those moments when it can be as simple as expressing appreciation for your spouse, but also moments to be able to laugh together and just have fun together, to just do small things, whether that's, a date night and being consistent in date nights, or maybe it's jokes that you have between the two of you, or maybe it's having fun with the kids, but you're together fostering a spirit of appreciation, enjoyment with each other. That is really what this is.
And I really see
about.
That this does come on the heels of knowing your spouse, knowing, what it is that she finds fun to do, and then to linking up on that so that we're not running parallel lives, each with our own points of interest.
Yeah.
But trying to find some commonality in that.
Yeah. That it doesn't come out of what I think my spouse may enjoy, but what I know. They've shared it with me. Now I know that this is the way, so I can speak into them in ways that they want to be spoken into, rather than me kind of from my own perspective and viewpoint thinking, oh, they need this, or this would be good.
It's interesting, Kaleb. I mean, do we need to, as part of the help here, do we need to sometimes step out and say, I'm going to try to like this activity, So my spouse really likes to watch birds and likes to talk about the birds that are around the house. Maybe I should pick up the binoculars and really look when she comments on a certain bird.
Yeah.
Because maybe with a little bit of a shove or a push, I might find and catch the enjoyment, rather than first just saying, that's his thing, and that's just not my thing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That you get excited about the enjoyment that overcomes them when they're involved in that activity, whether you like the activity or not. It's being with them and experiencing that together with them.
There is an enjoyment that comes from the side in these experiences.
Yes.
Rather than always the engagement of the activity.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's helpful too now. As I think about my spouse, I think about what she likes, what she would enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Move into our spouse in areas that they love and that they enjoy, which calls us to self-sacrifice.
It really does.
There's no other way that works. One of the things that can be helpful for couples to do, or even families, is to spend some time where they pull out the photo album or look at pictures on the computer or videos, and being able to laugh together and share in those experiences. Even sometimes experiences that in the moment, frustrating, but they can laugh together about now as a couple. And, it doesn't take a lot of time, but it's creating a culture that we're together in this, that we've created some memories, and we can laugh together about that brings us together and expresses that appreciation and affection for one another.
There's something really deep there, Kaleb, and something I've never thought about, and that is, that celebration that we are a unit and that we share a great deal of memories together and call upon those memories to help establish our oneness.
Yes. Yeah. And that commitment, and that we've been through, thick and thin. We've been through ups and downs, and
you'd mentioned that the third one, Kaleb, was seeking to be attuned into the small moments and matters of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the idea is kind of small steps often. One marital researcher called it bids. So we make bids many a day. So bids can come in the form of verbal or nonverbal, which means I can specifically ask my wife a question that then bids her to respond to my question. Or I can just say, wow, this has been a really stressful day, or man, something really exciting happened, right? I'm not really asking a question, but it's providing opportunity for her to respond to my bid. So those are examples, but also a bid when I leave in the morning, when we depart for the day. There's an opportunity for us to connect for 30 seconds. We can embrace each other, say, I love you, or we can just leave without doing any of that.
Yeah. As the adage goes, ships passing in the night.
Yes.
That can happen.
Yeah.
And what we're saying here is being intentional about those connections.
Mm-hmm.
And those connections don't have to be huge and monumental. That's part of the message here, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it is small moments where you intentionally connect for 30 seconds to a minute, but over, a week, over a month, those are cultivating that friendship part of that connection when we're away.
Give us some more practical ways that we make these bids.
It's kind of like a bank account. So when we make bids, we are depositing in an emotional bank account. Over time, negative interactions are going to happen. Stress is going to happen. But if we've built up that emotional bank account, that it's going to be a buffer for those times when
we'll have to draw on it.
Yes. Responding to my spouse's bids and being aware that they're even making a bid means I have to be present.
Yeah.
Practical examples are intentionally when you leave in the morning. So these are small, simple things that you're hugging each other, giving each other a kiss and saying, I love you. Okay. When you come home at night, you're intentional about connecting, creating that place where you're responding to each other, expressing maybe in words, maybe just through your physical connection that you're important to me. I love you. Glad to be home. Another place is being intentional about setting time away where you don't have distractions from, social media, the kids, work, but you can sit across from each other and share about your day.
So being intentional about that date night space or something to that nature.
And even on a daily basis, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes, say it's after mealtime, say you have young kids, it's letting the kids go and sitting for another 5 to 10 minutes to just share with each other.
Right.
It's not a big amount of time, but those small moments build up to be very powerful.
So maybe a couple has got set aside time every day. When husband comes home from work, there's 5 minutes that the kids just know that they don't pester mom and dad because they're connecting. Or after supper, they always go on a walk or they connect, right?
Sure, yeah.
But there is a sense of sometimes maybe what needs to come alongside that is just a clarity for everybody else to know that this is going to happen.
Yep.
And, you're going to have to hold your question until mom and dad are done.
Some boundaries. Yep. And sometimes, depending on what life stage, sometimes maybe it's just after the kids are in bed in the evening when the couple has some time together. And the other thing is, in this area of bids, is when we're apart, is being intentional about whether it's sharing a text, calling over lunch hour, or maybe meeting at lunch hour. Those are also small ways that cultivate and continue to deposit in that emotional bank account, if you will.
I like that.
Here's another idea, Matt. When you individually reflect on your spouse, thinking about behaviors, if you were to list 5 behaviors that you could do for your spouse that you feel like would increase their marital satisfaction, their happiness within the relationship. So this is about you thinking about Rebecca, right? If you were to do 5 behaviors on a consistent basis, not like going on a cruise but small things throughout the moments of life, if you were to do those consistently. So it's a self-reflection. You sit down, you write them down, and then you share them with her and say, if you were to list 5 small behaviors, would these be the one? Or would you say that'd be something else?
Yeah.
So once you have the 5 behaviors of your spouse, then you intentionally, once a week, right, pick one of those behaviors and engage it.
Yeah.
Not big things, right? Maybe it's helping with the dishes, or Maybe it's putting the kids to bed at night, whatever that looks like. But the reality is, again, you're responding to their bids the way that they feel loved and experience love.
That makes a lot of sense. And in fact, an activity Rebecca and I used to do years ago, and we have gotten away from it, although it was very beneficial, is we put in a jar those things that we particularly liked, right? And every week I'd pull out of her jar and she'd pull out of mine, and then work that into the week. Right? So I was getting great cookies, and I think I do need to resurrect this. But no, the point is it was a special thing. You know, sometimes I think we expect our spouses. We have this view that, they should know. And if they just do it without me telling them, it's going to be so much better. Yeah. But you know what? It's pretty great even when you tell them.
Yes. Matt, both of those realities are true, right? Both of back to the knowing, me pursuing and knowing them, and so spontaneously I can just do things, but also sometimes sharing those things that are important verbally and expressing those needs are needed and helpful.
Kaleb, this has been excellent. We've talked about knowing your spouse. We've talked about staying in tune and making those bids to them. We've talked about sharing that affection and that appreciation. As we kind of move this conversation to a close, what overarching comments do you want to make about friendship and marriage?
Cultivating each of these areas can be beneficial in themselves. I mean, we can see how it connects us in a deep and a meaningful way to our spouse. The cumulative effect of all three of them creates an atmosphere of viewing our spouse with positive intentions. If you were to describe what the climate of your relationship was like, what would you say it is? That's a self kind of reflection. Is it sunny? Without, no clouds? Is it partly cloudy? Is it right through a thunderstorm? But that climate creates an atmosphere where I view my spouse. So let me give you an example. I go home tonight and Ange makes me my favorite pie, which happens to be peach pie. And it comes off an argument we had a couple days ago. If we were in kind of a cloudy, thunderstorm climate, if you will, in our relationship, I might think, Ange is just making up for the disagreement and what she did 2 days ago. Right. Versus if there's an atmosphere of grace and positivity, I'm thinking, wow. She's amazing. I'm so thankful for her. She's in tune with my needs. And I'm so blessed. And so the only difference is the atmosphere within the relationship.
And what we have shared here today and what you've helped us understand here today is how to bring the sun back out, right? And when it is sunny, it is natural for us to view our spouse in a positive light, to make leaps of good intentions rather than leaps of ulterior motives.
We make excuses for them.
Right?
Yes.
And how important that is in marriage.
It's that component of companionship, Matt, that we talked about, that oneness that we see in the Trinity of the flowing back and forth. And it's really, I think, what God designed marriage to be about. Yes.
Kaleb, this has been, I think, incredibly insightful. I think it will be delightful to listen to and to review and to reflect upon. And I think very applicable as well as we think about our marriages and our spouses. Thanks so much. And to our listeners, we trust that this has been a blessing to you. And thanks for being along.